Welcome to Midday. We are talking taxes for our first segment of the show today. We have Shelby from Abbott Wealth Management, of course, but she's brought along a special guest today. We have Tasha
Jastrzewski.
I practiced.
You tried. At least you tried.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tasha.
That's okay.
So Tasha is an accountant for Tanisha Piva, which is, of course, you guys are the experts, I guess you could say, in all things numbers and taxes, and this is the season where everybody needs to kind of get down to business and start thinking about that. Yes. Shelby, I'll just start with you. This is our topic of conversation for the month of February.
Tax planning.
Tax planning. And this is for personal taxes mostly. Let's just start you off with where people need to begin.
Yeah, so for starting for taxes, it's really important to make sure you have all those important slips, which Tasha's going to talk about as well, but you know, your RSP slip, your T4. Lots of people write off medical expenses, and there's childcare tax credits, and there's so many different things, and Tasha's going to talk about a lot of the commonly maybe missed tax deductions, new upcoming rules that are really important, and some changes.
So this is an important time of year, but is this the time to be thinking, like right at the beginning of February?
I guess it depends on the kind of person you are. I'm starting mine in January 1st because I'm crazy organized, but that's not everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think, Tasha?
We really like to recommend preparing as soon as possible, given the either simplicities or complexities that your return might hold. So one of the questions we get a lot is, do you need to file?
Right.
So common answer there is yes, if you owe taxes. Now, the one point I wanted to talk about was if you do not owe taxes or you do not have a job, you can also file to be able to claim the Canada Child Benefit, the GST tax credit. So a lot of people may miss out on that if they don't file their taxes.
That's a good point.
And then just to touch on some important dates.
Yeah, I guess that's what it comes down to, right? Because you always think, okay, how much time do I have? When do I start? What's the last possible date I can file?
Absolutely.
There are dates to keep in mind.
Yes. So the two dates I want to kind of highlight are March 1st is the last day you can contribute to your RSPs.
Okay.
And then the big magic one is April 30th. That's the final date you can file your taxes and when taxes are actually due. So if you're a sole proprietor and you are self-employed, you can actually file your taxes June 15th. But any amounts owing is due on April 30th. So April 30th is that magic number for filing if you're just have personal information, and then if you owe money.
And then beyond April 30th, if that is the magic number, what are the penalties that follow that if you forget or you're just not on time?
Exactly. So the CRA has a really good summary online. The amounts that the penalties, I don't have like right on hand or off the top of my head. But usually it's just a portion it starts on April 30th and it goes each month that you don't pay your taxes. So I recommend going online and checking out all those details.
No one wants to pay more to the government than they have to.
No, absolutely. I know that there's, you talked quickly right off the top, Shelby, slips that you need to have on hand. Everyone knows about T4, but is there anything more?
Absolutely.
Or does it depend?
Yeah, so a lot of it does depend, but the common ones that I like to talk about are the T3 slip. That's if you have a beneficiary amount from a trust. So let's say you're involved with a family trust in your family. The T4 that we've talked about, there's a T4A which reports pension income and other income. The other income can be very broad, so going online and looking at what that entails is very important. A common one could be the taxable scholarship amounts for students. And then finally, a T5 slip. That's an important one when you're involved with investments.
Non-registered.
Maybe we'll get you to talk about that, Shelby. So that's the one you need.
So if you have a GIC that's non-registered or a segregated or a mutual fund, securities, it doesn't matter. So the growth is taxable inside of that account each year. So you will get a T5, and they come out later in the year. I think closer to March, those ones are issued. So those are the ones you kind of have to wait on to do your taxes because you don't want to do it without it.
So being prepared, I know, Shelby, you talked a little bit about how organized you are with your January tax filing or organizing. What do you need to be prepared? I mean, we've only got about a minute left. ladies, so we'll just let you maybe tell us some of the most important
Sure.
things that you need to know to be prepared.
Yeah, so summarizing information is really important. So a good example where you want to summarize is if you have a rental suite in your home, if you have employment expenses, commission expenses, and if you're self-employed. So if you can summarize your monthly expenses and revenues into, let's say, an Excel spreadsheet, and you have an accountant, that just simplifies the whole process. It keeps you organized. You can see your ins and outs for the year, and that really helps. So you can even categorize things in folders. You can kind of call them your buckets.
I was just going to say, folder is a good thing. And I'll just finish with you, Shelby. Would you ask people or maybe encourage people to work in advance? I mean, start now for next year even, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could. You wouldn't really have anything at this point for next
start
year.
Thinking
so
about
much,
keeping that folder.
Yeah, and I just really highly recommend having an accountant. This year was my first year where I was like, you know what, I'm going to do that because they're the professional. So Tasha's my new accountant, and I'm so excited to hand that over to someone else. And she's so great at what she does. The whole team at Tanisha Piva is amazing. And it's really nice that we can have a relationship with them, and we trust them with all of, our information.
Expenses.
So,
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you both. And Tasha, thank you for
much.
joining us. That was a nice addition to this segment. There's some more information if you want to talk with Abbott Wealth and find an accountant. You can contact Tasha. We're back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.